Right, the last radio we have in the batch is the Commtron V3. Right, and this is an 80 channel FM and AM radio, and there literally is no information online about this I can find whatsoever, so this will be interesting. There's no setup information. Obviously the board looks slightly familiar in terms of its layout, but I'll have a go at doing this. I can't guarantee on the AM side it's going to be as good as possibly the FM side, but I'll certainly test it in AM mode, and we'll see how we get on. But I certainly think we can optimize the FM side of this as usual, and we'll basically just assess what the AM side is doing, see if it's up to spec, and we'll test it in both modes, of course. So yeah, interesting. I thought we'd best cover this and see if we can establish what everything does, and then it might be useful to someone else that has one of these sets. So let's get looking into this and see if we can work out what everything does and what everything doesn't do. Okay, so we've got the radio set in FM. I'm on the low band, so this is the US, if you like, or the EU frequency range, but on FM. We'll just test the transmit and see if we get anything on the President Randy here. 1, 2, yep. So we're getting the signal there. The modulation's a bit low, but we're getting the signal on there. We'll just check receive. Just pop the volume up a little bit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep, so we're getting that. We're getting transmit and receive in FM. So let's just take some stats down on the meters with these to see what it's doing. Okay, so we check the transmit power. Doing 3.5 watts there on FM mode in transmit. 1, 2. So modulation's a little bit low. We'll sort that out. We've got 100 microvolt signal there, and that's bang on the button, as they say. So that's fine. So let's drop it down to 1 microvolt, and we'll see what kind of synod reading we're getting there. It's looking pretty good on receive here, so let's just wind it all the way down, and I should think this squelch will come in there. So I don't know. So yeah, it's obviously got some kind of quietening feature on the squelch. There's not a problem with that. So let's see what the sensitivity is. We're just winding it up a little bit now. You can see there, we're now doing just shy of 12. Let's get it on the nail. That's doing 0.47 microvolts. Okay, which is certainly acceptable. It sounds a little bit off, a little bit squiffy, so we'll see if we can improve that some with a bit once we work out what does what. Right, we are now getting the static. I did a bit of a clean of some of the pots there. I've done a test for dry joints. I can't see that there are any. I've been tapping around with a handle of a screwdriver on the back of it gently, just to see if we can spot anything. But I seem to have got our white noise back anyway. So I'm thinking on transmit, we're looking at this array here, these 3 in the front end, and then these in the power section for transmit. And I think all of these others are going to be on the receive side. That'll be the VCO. We're not going to touch that. I think this will be on the AM side. Again, if it's within spec, I'm not going to touch that, because I could very much make that worse if I don't have the details on how to do that. Yeah, we'll move on and see if we can peak the transmit power. Okay, I think I've established the order here. These 2 here don't appear to do anything on FM, but this one certainly does. That one, that one, that one, and that one. I optimized them, and we're now getting a full 4 watts on transmit, and I've checked the harmonic side, and that's fine as well. It's the same procedure, I think, as on the other Commtron, where you wind this counterclockwise from peak, and that seemed to drop the harmonic down a little bit as well. So I'm happy that's okay on transmit on FM, and we'll do some tests on AM a little bit later on, because I've got to pop this signal generator in place there, but we can certainly test transmit on that. But I think we'll look at look at setting the detector, find out what the detector is on and see if we can establish what that is on this radio. Again, like I say, on the AM side, I'm just a bit wary about doing too much because like I say, I have no circuit diagram or any info on what the setup procedure is. Okay, I think we've established where the FM detector is. The adjustment is on that one there. I'll just show you on the scope. You can see we've got a bit more out of it there. We'll just collapse it all the way down. And that seems to be quite peaked there. So whether the other one has any effect on the waveform, I don't know. We'll have a little look. We'll have a little listen, shall we? That would be more appropriate, wouldn't it? I'll turn that down so it doesn't play your ears off. No, I think that's AM on the AM side. Like I say, can't see or hear anything different there. So that's good. We've peaked that. So let's go through, and I'll try and identify which ones of these make a difference on the FM side. I'm being very careful not to make any harsh adjustments. I've established where the transmit and the receive cans are, and that's what I've got so far. From here, all receive on that side and then transmit down that side. So we'll have a look now to see if we can establish where the FM deviation potentiometer is, as this is a little bit low. Okay, FM modulation is on that pot. We've adjusted that to 2.2 to 2.5. So let's see if we can establish if there's any adjustment on the meter in terms of transmit signal power shown. I mean, it is actually okay. It's actually, I think we've already shown this, but it is actually okay in terms of TX power, but I need to establish where it is in case on your radio it isn't. Okay, we've adjusted the transmit power meter showing 4 watts, and that's on that one, RV202, that one on the right hand side. Okay, if you're doing the squelch, that's that one, that's that pot down there, which is RV101. Okay, and the squelch is adjusted really nice on this. Comes in at 100, bleeds off at 90, and then at the low end it switches between 0.34 and 0.43 of a microvolt, so absolutely spot on. Okay, to adjust the meter on receive, it's RV103, it's that one there. We've got this one now adjusted with a 100 microvolt signal. There we go, spot on. So that's cleared those two up, and with the process of elimination we can obviously leave most of the other ones down to the AM side, which there won't be much AM modulation adjustment, but otherwise everything is pretty much set as is. Okay, I'm happy that the FM side of this radio is optimized, and it takes so much longer when you're having to adjust each pot and inductor to find out what is what, but sometimes there just isn't documentation there, and I know someone will probably point me to something on the internet which shows me, but part of the fun as well is working it out for yourself. Now, I established that this was the FM deviation adjustment. I'm going to go ahead and assume that that's the AM deviation adjustment there, and but we will check that. And well, I'm going to check its performance on AM. I think it should be okay. Well, we'll check it anyway, and we'll check its transmit performance. And I'm sure, as we've mostly adjusted that side of it here anyway, that it's all going to be good. So we'll do some rudimentary checks on AM, but I did mention to the customer, and I've mentioned it on here, that I'm not that geared up for AM, although I can do it. It just takes a lot more time, and I can't provide any real world figures for sensitivity on AM as I can do on FM, simply because of the inaccuracies of this meter and the connected paraphernalia that I used to test it. Nonetheless, I can align them so that they are as sensitive as they can be, which is what counts. Changing the mode switch to AM, simply it stays on the same frequency on 27205, but literally just changes the mode to AM. So we'll look at the transmitted audio first, put it onto the power setting there. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So we're doing full 4 watts there. We can see we've got our 1, 2. We've got our modulation there, although that's set to FM. Just out of interest, you will actually see the modulation on the deviation meter here. We just pop you up there. It will fly right over there. 1, 2. There you go. Because obviously that's just an FM meter. So it sounds fine on the Randy as well, and it's receiving okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. We will pop a signal into it with this signal generator in a little while, but on that setting it's certainly looking okay on the low setting there. So going back to the FM mode now, but switching it into high, we now get a good signal there, and we get our let's check the power. We're getting 4 watts, and we're getting modulation there as well. Now the okay, we're on the wrong frequency there, but yeah, so we've got Delboy CB radio frequency list, which you'll find all over the internet. This one on the switch on the radio, it basically says you've got high and low, but actually what this is, the low is the mid band and the high is high. So really on this radio, low is mid band and high is what we call high, because of course we've got, since this radio was made, there's now more allocations, and we list these as Muppets right at the end, which I think is a little bit unfair these days, but there you go. So in FM mode, I've optimized it on the mid-band side, and it's working. Obviously I can't adjust anything because it'll affect the high band side as well, but it's working okay on that. So and all it's really doing is just shifting the synthesizer anyway. So what we'll do now is we'll put it back into the high band and test it on AM in the high band. Okay, so you'll notice when we switch to high band, the switch jumps to 60 because it counts the 20 of the old low band, which is now the mid band, and it adds 40 channels to that, so it is channel 60. So you're not going mad when you change that switch. That is correct, although we are upside down and it does look like 9, doesn't it? But yes, we are getting transmit and everything on here. It's working okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We've got power and AM power. We're doing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just shy of 4 watts there. And then what we'll do is we'll just check the receive on AM. We can't really do much on AM. Like I said, I'm worried about taking it out of tolerance if you know, on AM. It seems to be performing well, but we'll try and get some signals into it and just check the receive. But I think it's going to be absolutely fine. I want to show this because somebody did ask. I have shown this before, but if you haven't got an AM signal generator, some of those desktop mounted ones, the big heavy TSG 17s and things like that, are not the best. You can produce an AM signal with this unit, although you will need to attenuate the output, as I've already shown in the videos here, just through an attenuator of some kind, just to drop down the signal a bit, because it's a bit too high for obviously setting up radios if you don't do that. I just wanted to show you how you set this up on the FY 6900. On channel 1 you set up your frequency here, so we've got the channel 20 frequency of 27205 megahertz at the top, and in the amplitude I've just got a 900 millivolt signal in there, but we've got an attenuator downstream, a 60 dB attenuation, so that's fine, and you can play around with that to suit. And then all you do is, for your modulation, you can use an external modulation, but these units are ever so sensitive. If you drive it much higher than 5 volts, you'll blow the external input. So it's better to use the internal inputs, less sensitive. So what you do is then you press the channel 2 button, and then you set up your whatever tone you want. I've got a 1 kilohertz tone in there at 1 volt. Obviously I can turn that up and down to suit. And so you basically set them up as 2 sine waves on channel 1 and channel 2, and you use channel 1 as your transmit sine wave on AM, and then channel 2 as your modulated signal input, which is your 1 kilohertz tone. And all you do to activate that is press the mod button, and then using the mode button you can switch through what modes you want. And you can see there we've got the AM signal, and you can see that it's on channel 2, and you can also select, well, you don't want to do that, you want to make sure you're on channel 2. So we take that back to a sine wave, and then onto channel 2. You can then change the modulation on here using this mode button here, and that'll change the modulation: FSK, ASK, PSK, burst, and then AM. And then if you want, on this screen, if you want to up the amplitude, press the amplitude button down here, and then you can increase the signal strength. As you can see, we've got quite a weak signal through the attenuator there, but if we increase the signal up here, you'll hear it getting better, and you'll see the signal quality on the sine adder there going up. So I mean, it's a fairly rough and ready generator. I'll just turn that down. But I found it in practice to be a lot better than the TSG17, and of course you can use it for FM as well, so you can do FM and AM. So if you're just setting up CBs and you just want something rudimentary to peak them on, then you can use this for both FM and AM. You just simply set up your FM modulation in there. So it's a nice, cheap and easy way of doing it, although I have noticed these units have gone up a bit in price lately. So using this method, we've managed to establish that this is a AM receive adjustment point here. We'll just turn the volume up. You can see it swings back down again. So that's what I've just turned that down on the volume on the front there. Right, I've optimised it as close as I can on AM, and it's doing about 0.8 of a microvolt for 12 dB SINAD. So that's as near as I can get it. Like I say, I haven't got a circuit diagram, and I don't want to go messing around with too many of these inductors, because of course some of these inductors might well also affect the AM side of things as well. So it's certainly optimised for FM, and it still works absolutely fine in AM, and we'll of course do an on-the-air test with Mick and just to verify that. So this is the Commtron V3, an 80-channel radio. It's got low and high on the channels there, which is the old the American frequencies on low, if you like, CPT on low, and then the mid band, the free band, on the high position. But we're just going to go with the mid band on this. It's just easier for Mick to test. Okay then, Mick, we're on the Commtron V3 here. Quite a rare beast in these waters. Not strictly approved for use here in the UK, so just have to keep an eye on the comments section. But yeah, this is the Commtron V3. We're doing a test on AM here, and it's been aligned and set up nicely, hopefully. And I wonder how you copy there, Rog.
Hey Paul, it's Mick here, doing some testing with you on another Komtron AM mode this time, AM mode, and your audio is very, very good. There's a little bit of white noise coming up in the background, but that's possibly expected on AM, but fully readable, so a very, very good signal as well, Paul, so to me anyway. Let's put it back to you.
Okay, Roger D. Yep, you're fully readable as well. A really good signal. Yeah, we roughly know what the AM signal does between us, and this certainly seems sort of on a par with other tests that we've done. Probably not quite as good as the Craig radio we tested last week, but I tell you what, not that far off it. And if you consider, you know, obviously the Craig is a slightly superior set to this, so it's not doing too bad there. But obviously the Craig is the Rolls Royce of those sets. I think the way it's designed, anyway, it's lovely, very simple but very effective. So yeah, I'm glad this sounds okay. Did you want to try it in FM mode? It should just be a flick of the switch, Rog. There we go, so switch over to FM. Well then, Mick, I wonder how you copy me in FM mode.
That is very, very good indeed, Paul. It's become a lot louder as well, and there's no noise on the signal, that's disappeared. So you know, there's really cracking signal coming through. I would be pleased with that. Back to you, Paul.
Yeah, Roger D, likewise, you're also a very good signal, comparable with the other two sets, of course. Our setup for AM here isn't good, as we know, affected by a lot of noise, you know, so much so I don't actually even use HF here, it's so bad, so it's no surprise that the AM signal isn't as good here, but like I say, it was certainly working okay on AM, which was part of the reason for the test there, obviously. So yeah, I'm very pleased with these three sets. I do like the Komtrons, they're a really nice little radio. I know the chassis inside is common to a lot of other sets, but I really like the design, the style of the Komtron. I've got a couple of them myself, as you know, so really nice little sets, very reliable on the whole. Never much of a problem with dry joints or bad capacitors like you get on some radios. These are generally very reliable radios indeed. I mean, I can't say the same about the microphones, always the Achilles heel with this set, the flat mics, but other than those, fantastic little radios, really good. Not too many controls on them, not too fiddly, not too big, you know, just about the right size and really robust. Very tough set. So so yeah, I'll pass it back round to you for a final comment there, Mick, and I will wrap this video up.
Yeah, but it's working very well. AM is good, but it's got a little bit of white noise on the signal, but FM is absolutely brilliant, so it's on a par with the other two radios we tested this morning, so yes, very good. Back to you, Paul.
That's excellent, and thanks ever so much for the comment there. And like I say, you're sounding absolutely brilliant on there, Mick, as usual. Like I say, it's the T800's always fairly dependable and constant, isn't it? And this radio is a little bit bigger than the T800, probably, well, yeah, quite a lot bigger than the T800. Probably almost twice as thick, but not much wider. But it's a bit longer. But it's certainly, compared to some of the sets that are around at this time, you know, quite a compact set, not compared to the Midland 77 104s and things, of course, because I think they were amazing, really, considering the time that they came out. So okay, brilliant stuff. I'll just wrap this video up and then I'll have a chat with you. Okay then, right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this bunch of videos on the Commtron CB40F, and you'll tune in for the next one. Take care.